People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. And with an introduction like that, what more can I say, man? People deluded, I'm back again. This is an overdue episode. Happy to finally have the guy. And we say, my guy, you blessed.
You're telling me, what's my audio sound like? Can I sound all right?
Yeah, you're good, man. You're good.
What's going on, bro? How you been, man?
Yeah, man, you know, just enjoying the international break. You know, obviously we beat a certain team in another London derby, 3-1. So I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed.
Yeah, Man United.
Yeah. What are you saying for the Man United game? Obviously, I ain't got the chance to ask you, man. What's the good, bad, the ugly? What did you make of the 90-minute game, man? It's nice to win a London derby.
Yeah, it was good, man. Looking back at it now, I could obviously decipher the game properly and just chill, innit? Like before, obviously, while you're watching it, emotions is high and etc. So now that I could just sit back and I've had a chance to look back for a week and that. It was a good game. Tactically, at first I was like, why are we giving them the ball so much? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is Man United got
There's
so
a
much
method to Arteta's madness, though.
Yeah, but I was at first when you're watching the game, I'm expecting us to dominate possession. They're just on the back foot and we're just, just pressing.
Flying out the blocks.
Yeah, like that we was doing last season. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, Arteta has learned from his mistakes because he's played against this manager before. And we did the same thing at Old Trafford and it hit us on the count.
And they got a sweaty victory, yeah.
A sweaty victory, bro. And the maddest thing is, while we're watching the game, all of us could see, even Arsenal fans, all Arsenal fans worldwide could see, don't get hit on this counter. We could see they just want to hit Rashford. We could see they just want to hit Rashford.
Balls into the channels, yeah.
Bruv. And when that mistake happened from Havertz, and then they got the goal and then Rashford scored, I was more disappointed. Not because, obviously, they scored. You don't want to concede, but it's the way they scored. We knew.
Shot ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, that's all they could do, bro. It just hit us on the counter. They've been looking for that channel the whole pass, Rashford. And every time he got the ball, I'm not going to lie, I was scared, bro. I was like,
yeah, I mean, Rashford loves to score against us. He's trying to become like Jogba and Vardy and Rooney and just be having an agenda against us, bro. Rashford, I don't know who at Arsenal upset him, but he loves bagging against us. But as I text my brethren when I was doing a watch along, I said, calm down. We've seen this before. Rashford scored last year first. And unfortunately, it was a rerun of last year, man. So, yeah,
but at the same time, when they scored, I said to myself, because all the man them went to go watch the game. All the man them went to go watch it. I said, I'm chilling by myself. I'm going to watch it by myself.
Nah, you done the right thing still. That's not a game to be watching with friends.
Nah. I need to just lock in. But when they scored, I said to myself, they've woken up a beast. I said, we're definitely going to react. But I didn't expect us to react that fast. I'm not even going to lie. Like, that was... Trust.
They barely even sat down before we got back in.
That was mad. So, yeah, after that, so I was disappointed after that when they scored that goal. Obviously, we reacted. We did the right thing when we reacted. But after that, to be fair, Deluded, I think the game was kind of slow. And the game was it was a bit boring at times. It was like both teams was kind of going through the motions. Arsenal wants to push, but at the same time, I thought they if we push too much, we know this team can hurt us on the counter. They got Bruno Fernandes who could pick a pass. They got Eriksen who could pick a pass.
And he did, yeah.
All I got, Man United, they ain't, as a team, collectively, they ain't good, but individually, they can kill you. You know what I'm saying? Certain man on the right, they can hurt you. They get 2-3 goals, games done, innit? So, yeah, and then what happened? That through ball, and brother, when that through ball went through, yeah, I said to myself, I didn't even just say it. I said he looked offside. For a second, I said he looked offside, but I was like, all right, cool, let me see. But if they did score that,
put my hand up on the shameless thing. I didn't think it was offside. I'll be real. Shout out Gabriel for that. Nah, genuinely, I can't lie. When Garnacho scored, I thought, yeah, I've seen this growing up. Man United snatch and grab. We're gonna have to hold our licks. And then the longer it went on, I thought, yeah, God's bust us. And then actually, when I watched the game again and I saw it in real time, it's brilliant from Gabriel. It's nothing short of brilliance from Gabriel. But that's the thing with us, though. Like, don't you think we keep doing this to ourselves? I know everyone's going to concede. Everyone's going to lose games on the counter-attack. Everyone's going to lose balls on the transition. But don't you feel we probably do that a bit too much and it's becoming a problem? Like, I personally feel, definitely at the Emirates, our games are too entertaining for the neutrals. I want us to be boring. And I think we need to improve a tenfold defensively if we want to win this league or challenge City at least, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, you're right. Like, and sometimes... with even the goal they scored, the offside goal, it was rash. It's like, man, flew out. They didn't hold the back line. Who was it? He flew out. Was it Saliba or Gabriel? One of them.
Saliba, everyone was at 6s and 7s. In fact, to be fair, Gabriel was probably the most switched on, but Benjamin White's out of position. Saliba's not looking over his shoulder. Yeah, we're just caught on the transition, man. And that seems to be a theme of ours. Like, even, I know Havertz lost the ball and he's going to have to hold that, but even Benjamin White and Saliba's defending, like, everybody knows what Rashford wants to do. He wants to go on his right. It's easier said than done, but we've got to ask ourselves better questions and defend a lot better than that, man.
Especially us going into, we're gonna talk on that. Especially us like going into the Champions League. Those kind of things has to be better. Like, we all know, like, close him down. Like, one of you, like, talk to each other, because it's like when you watch it back, they're both mirroring each other's movement. They both are stepping off, going to the left. They know he wants to shoot.
No one's regulating.
No one's pressing. Like, you got to press him onto this left hand side. You got to move him onto his left hand side. It's easier said than done. Because Rashford, I rate Rashford. I think he's class. So it's easier said than done trying to shift him onto his left. But yeah, and after there, so the offside happened, which was good. And what we did show from last season is our resilience. We don't know when we're beat. And that's what's great about this team right now. That's what Arteta's driven into these boys. That's what the fans around the stadium has driven into them. Because there was times seasons ago we were like, okay, we accept a draw.
It would have been a library.
Yeah, it would have been a library. It would have been quiet. We would have got away with it. And who knows, Man United could have pushed on to score again, like a couple of years ago. But now we don't know when we're beat. And rightfully so, because I believe our stadium is I don't want to take it back to old school, but the Emirates, Highbury was a fortress, bro. You ain't coming in and collecting 3 points. And we've got it back to that status to some degree. I don't think it's quite there yet, but it's getting there with the fans. And obviously Declan Rice, I don't know what Man United was doing with that defending, though, to be fair. We go away.
Bro, I'm happy for that, but the defending's atrocious. That level of goalkeeping from Onana is atrocious. Whether there's zonal or man marking, if you're doing zonal marking, you got to close down Declan Rice. There's only one thing on the man's mind. It's terrible.
You think it was bad for Onana? You think it was bad?
Bro, you're being at your near post, man. That's an idiot thing, man. You're bought for big money, man. Like, Onana's a decent keeper. I actually feel he's a good keeper, but come on, man. If that was Ramsdale, match of the day, you're doing analysis, it's all over Sky Sports, you could do a lot better. Obviously, your goal is your last line of defense. So before I look at Onana, I have to look at how they defended. Whether it's man marking, which it wasn't, it's not good enough. Zonal marking, you got to close Rice down. Rice had too much time to really buy a raffle ticket. And obviously, it's a bit of a scruffy shot and he got a bit of fortune, but they could have done a lot better, man. Onana's not alone. You know, how United are in a position where they're bringing on Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans, and the fact that our fans were cheering on my man coming on says it all. But yeah, man, it's crazy. And the only thing I'd say I didn't like from the game is Ten Hag just has a billion excuses. Like he said, that was a foul on Johnny Evans. It's more of a penalty, if anything, surely.
Exactly. And that just shows that the level of management that he and what he's projecting on his players, like no one's being accountable. Be accountable for what
you have it.
Yeah, there you have it. Like, be accountable, bro. Like, you got it tactically. I'm not saying you got it tactically wrong, because you almost got it tactically right, but be accountable. You need to, like, okay, take it on the chin. It's me. It's my players. Like every other manager does. Don't blame VAR. If it was a blatant penalty, then yeah, you could moan. But even when we get blatant penalties against us or for us, even Arteta says, I don't even want to talk about it. Like it's already done. What can I do? Unless it's a blatant daylight robbery. But at the same time, it's double standards, because look what Onana did to my man at Wolves.
Exactly. That's a great point. Exactly. I just think you've just got to take it on the chin, like you said, man. Like decisions are gonna go against you. And everyone's played Sunday League. Managers tell you the ref's dead, didn't it? Like, and half the time when Arsenal have been done dirty by a VAR, if we're honest, take away that incident, we probably haven't done enough to win the game. So he's just gonna have to firm that, man, and stop looking for excuses. What you made of Arsenal start to the season? Because some fans would say, there's a lot to be excited about, there's a lot to be nervous about, but if we judged it off last season, we're probably not where we was 4 games in.
Yeah. Obviously, one of the key factors to that is Arteta chopping and changing the formation in it, which I just think was just diabolical at the same time. Like, you just put Thomas Partey right back. We could all see what he's trying to do, because City was doing it. They had four centre backs. John Stone comes into the midfield. Like they're trying to move away from the inverted thing as much as possible, because people are trying to suss it out. People are sussing it out.
If you lock down Zinchenko, not half the job, but you have a good way of getting a result against us. You're exactly right.
So him putting Thomas Partey there right back, for me, was just like, what's going on, bro? For one, the man's like hamstrings and thighs is just not good anyway. So, bro, we've got him running extra yards unnecessarily. Yeah. He's not the greatest at defending in those kind of spaces, them isolated spaces against one-on-one against wingers. Fast, rapid, man. So the first game, who was the first game against? First game was against Forest at home, innit?
Forest, yeah.
Yeah, we dominated play. It was, once again, we wasn't churning out as much chances, but that's down to the system, because obviously Saka's used to Ben White bombing on and giving him space. my man Zinchenko's Martinelli's used to Zinchenko bombing down and giving him space, coming in, cutting in 1-2s with whoever it may be. Xhaka at the time 1-2s. So the system's changed. So I think people's been saying, "Oh, we create more chances and etc. etc." Yeah, we do, but I just feel that the boys are still adapting to this system. If he's gonna stick to it anyway. But yeah, we got the job done. It was a bit hairy against Nottingham Forest. I'm not even gonna lie, bro.
Yeah, another silly goal conceded unnecessarily at the end once again. But we lived, we moved.
Then who did we go? We go to Palace.
Went to Palace. That's probably, for me, that's definitely the last half an hour we had 10 men. For me, easily the best collective half an hour I've seen so far this season, in my opinion, give or take, man.
Yeah, the man management on the pitch, like the boys were accountable. They didn't feel sorry for themselves. Like everybody was like, "Yo, we're digging deep. Like, we got to come out of it with something." You know what I'm saying? We got a bit lucky with that with the AU, yeah, with the penalty. Got a bit lucky. I think Thomas.
Like Wenger says, I didn't see it. I can't comment, man. Like, I can't comment.
Like another day, it could have got given. But
yeah, definitely. Luck of the draw, man.
We've been getting robbed from them kind of things for years, so it's what it is. Look at Wolves with David Luiz a couple of seasons ago. We've been getting robbed for years for those kind of stuff. So whatever.
Spare fault for Wolves, man. They've been zanged twice.
Brother. But yeah, we came out of that. I like the way how we showed heart and fight with that one there still, I'm not gonna lie. The Fulham game now, bro. It still plays on my mind now. Not as much, but it still irks me. Because
2 points drop, man. Fundamentally.
Bro, and we're doing the same things again. We're giving away goals, bro. Like, bro, you give away goals against anybody in this league, this top league. You give away goals, you're gonna get
in
punished,
trouble, man.
In trouble. You don't want to be doing an uphill battle the first minute of the season, like first minute of the game. What are we doing here? It was that was just like, boys, come on. They showed heart. They fought back. And then, oh, bro, 2-2 with 10.
3 minutes from the end of the game. 10 men, another set piece. Crazy. 2 points dropped against this monster City team as well, man, which the only team I think that's got maximum points in this league. They will drop points, but unfortunately we will as well. That's why I'm so critical of Arsenal at times, because if City didn't exist, you can get away with this. There's no margin for error against them kind of teams. Yes. And that's what I mean. Like we kind of self-capitulate, or we make things harder than it needs to be, in my opinion anyways.
What's going on my camera? Yo, get in focus.
No, you're good, man.
On to them. Yeah, man. So Fulham was done and dusted. Obviously, people's going to be moaning about the system, etc. Why are you playing certain man out of position? Which did harm us, because obviously top party tried to transition into midfield. No one's there, open space, boom, goal in it. And then, but at the same time, you got injured. Unfortunately for us, but fortunately for us, it goes on to Manchester United, where he had to play that system. It's like there's nothing else you can really run. You can't be playing Declan Rice right back and tell him to invert and etc. etc. So it's kind of played out the way we want it to play out, but obviously at the detriment of Thomas Partey. But I think we've started the season decent, man. We started it well, because if we didn't drop them 2 points any other day, we wouldn't drop them 2 points against Fulham. So it'd be 12. We'll have 12 points right now. I'm saying, and at the same time, if you want to like kind of tweak things or transition things, obviously you're meant to be doing that in pre-season. Ultimately, I'd love you to do it in pre-season. But if you're gonna do it now at the beginning of the season, and do it while you're still winning. You know what I'm saying? That's
a good point, to be fair. Yeah, rather than the business end of the year where there's no margin for error and the games are thick and fast in me, you got something to salvage.
And you got something to salvage. And at the same time, it kind of shows the boys, okay, cool, we're going into this formation today. Or you can, because we all know the game's change. You start in a 4-3-3, but when you defend, you can go like 4-5-1. You know what I'm saying?
Like Arteta said, about 40 odd different formations. I don't know if he's running jokes, but it is quite fluid. Yeah,
it's just fact. So we've got that. I don't know how much it's going to work, but we've got that, quote unquote, in our locker, that formation, whatever he wants to use. I don't really rock with it personally.
Why don't you rock with it?
I think it would have been sick if Timber didn't get injured. That's what.
Yeah, it might have banged a lot more. Yeah,
it would have banged. And I don't think Arteta really knew how good Timber was. I think he was surprised that he could play both the right and left hand side so good. I know he knew how good he was, but obviously.
You get shocked once he's playing and he's in the thick of it and whatnot.
Yeah. This guy can do it on both sides.
Great game against City. Unfortunately injured 50 minutes into his first Premier League game. His life's cruel, man. It's actually cruel. I think
if he's fit, I don't think Thomas Partey plays right back.
That's a shot. Probably doesn't. He's either in midfield or he might have dropped to the bench, and maybe Gabriel wouldn't have been dropped early doors. I don't know.
So obviously that's really that injury really has hit Arteta and Arsenal fans big, because he was a big player. He was going to do good stuff for us.
He could have been signing of the season for us, man.
Therefore, especially with the price, 100%. Right back, left back, and centre back, easy. Probably even DM in certain games. Just to,
run that. Yeah, he steps into midfield anyways.
Yeah, like even just not start DM, but you know when you got to see out a game, you could just bring man on instead of him or Jorginho, give the legs. You know what I'm saying. So yeah, I think we started off well, man. I think we're gonna do all right this season. I don't think it's gonna be as fast fluid and we're gonna be blowing teams away this season like we did last season. No way, impossible. Because we caught everyone cold last season. Everyone was like, "What's going on with Arsenal?" And everyone did.
It was a breath of fresh air. There's expectation. Now we're a bit of a known entity of sorts.
And everybody's gonna be setting low blocks, and everybody wants to beat us. Because, bruv, everyone's running serious agendas against us, bro. Regardless, I'm here. I'm watching streams. I don't get it twisted. I'm on a show myself, Filthy, as you know. But I watch all these. Big up Filthy. Big up you. I watch you. I watch Bear. I watch like.
Appreciate that, Makili.
Yeah, brother. I watch all the Mandem stuff because obviously when you're in a football show yourself, you want to be not away from the Mandem. I love the Mandem. I love my team, but you want to hear other opinions and hear what other people have to say in it and how they approach the game. And I'm hearing Bear man just saying, "You have to win the league. You have to win the league this season."
See, that's what jars me. Like we're playing this monster of a City team. Not to cut excuses because I want to win the Prem, but their players have been there, done it, wore the t-shirt. So has their manager. I'm not cutting excuses for us, but a lot of us are still developing. Very few players within that Arsenal team are the finished project. And people, even on what you said, people sat there and said Arsenal only did what they wanted to do last season because everyone else was poor. How are we accountable for the other teams in the league? It has nothing to do with us. We didn't ask for this. We took that and we ran with it. Same way if a next team does it this year and it's City versus someone else for the league, we can't blame them. But agendas after agenda, unfortunately, that's the business we're in, bro.
Yeah, and people are just gonna run that because that's the only thing they could say at the end of the day. If we don't do it, they could laugh at us. But that's the easiest thing to do because at the end of the day, we're going, like you said, we're going against a juggernaut of a team. I just want to treble. It's the same people you ask, yo, cool. So who do you think is going to win the league then? Arsenal, City. They'll tell you City, but they say we have to win it. So what kind of double-edged sword is this? What kind of double standards?
This is what I'm saying. You can't have your cake and eat it. By all means, say we need to be better and things like that, but we have to win the league against this City team. I wouldn't say it's a case of having to. On the topic of leagues, what would you say is the expectation this year then for all competitions then?
I say we have to compete, Deluded. Brother, we have to compete. And I'm talking about at least to the end of the season. If we tail off again, okay, I don't want it to happen, but I want us to be there by at least April, March. We have to be there. I don't. There's no excuse. We have to be there, man. The team's good enough. The team know mentally they're good enough to get to where we was last season. And now let's see if we've got the mental capacity to get over just that last 10 games. I want us to at least be there. It's not going to be easy because I think other teams are in and around it. Personally, I still think Liverpool's an outside horse. Personally.
They got Europa League football, man. They don't have to necessarily take it seriously until you get out of the group, depending on the level of their squad and how Klopp approaches it. You're right, man.
Trophy would be nice. Me personally, I've gone on all platforms. I've been on loads of different platforms. I don't rate the Carling Cup personally. It's a trophy. Yes, I get it. It's only
relevant if your team wins it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, and even then, I don't hold it in high stature. It'd be good for the boys because they're a young set of boys to win something else. But me as a fan, it's nice for the day. Cool. Yeah, we won the Carling Cup. We watch it on TV or go Wembley, whatever you want to do, and then we move on. You kick on from the rest of the season. But I don't. If we came second with the Carling Cup, yeah, it'd be a decent season. I'll still be a bit disappointed. But for me, bare minimum would be like an FA Cup. That's a good.
That needs to come home, man. Since we've won that, we've been embarrassing ourselves in it. If I'm honest, since Arteta last one, I'll be real.
So for me, I'd love us to win the Prem, but I think it's going to be a tall ask, bro. This City's teams, man. But I want us to have
it's a big ox, man. Big ox.
But I want us to have a good run in the Champions League, though.
What would be a good run?
I say the bare minimum. The bare minimum is the quarterfinals. The bare minimum. Now, because anything after that is mad. You could draw a madness, anything. But come out the group stages. If you don't come out the group, flipping out.
Now, there's question marks over everyone, the manager included, if we don't get out the group. Not to disrespect that group, but we should be getting through it as a minimum.
Minimum. Especially our group we just bloody got.
Literally, not to knock Sevilla, Lens, and PSV because they all got pedigree. Nobody put them in it. They earned the right, but I'm sure we would love that. I definitely wouldn't trade places with a Newcastle, for example, in their group. We need to
Manchester United
even. Even United, slightly.
Yeah, so quarterfinals, bare minimum. Because I want to, because anything after that, two juggernaut teams could draw each other, and you could, like Inter cut through last season. They cut
That's
through.
what I'm on. If we can do a little bandulu, then I'm on it. But boy,
they did their thing because obviously they beat Napoli and etc. Napoli was firing, but they did their bruv. They
got to a final. Like I know finals don't really mean nothing unless you win it, but they got to the final. Like the point being, as you know, if you just do your job, things can fall into place. I know they didn't get to the final, but if I remember correctly, Benfica excelled in expectations. They had a little run before, obviously, it was a mountain too high for them to climb. So I want us to enjoy it. You know, the players, the vast majority of them ain't played in it. The manager ain't managed in it. We finally got the days back at the Emirates, which we should be. We need to consistently be in days like this to convince people to come to the club. And obviously, there's money with the champs. And I'm sure I'll speak for you as well, where one day we'd love to sit here and win it. You know, I wouldn't even mind winning it the last 2 times Chelsea have done it. They just done it on a fraudulent thing, really. It's nerve-wracking, though, man. The Champions League scares me because you don't get away with certain things we have in the league in the champs.
Facts. Definitely. And that's the thing with like naivety and certain, like you said, certain players haven't been in there. But I still think, yes, some of our players hasn't been in the Champions League, but they've been in other top-tier competitions, i.e. the Euros, the World Cup. Certain players have been in the Champions League. We've got 1 or 2 men that's won the Champions League. So it's an excuse to a certain extent. Because it's just
football, bro. At the end of the day, what's the difference? It's played at night, blood. Like, it's still football, isn't it? Unless the rules change, it's still football. So
exactly,
you're right, man.
Because when these teams come to the Emirates, I expect us to put in a good performance and show other teams around Europe, yo, this team, Arsenal's back. Like we're not here just to make up numbers. Like, you come to the Emirates, it's going to be a long day for you. Like, we need to make it like that. We need to make it back into a fortress. Champions League, FA Cup, Carling Cup, any game at that stadium behind you right now, because I can see you're there in the box right now, which is cold.
We got the green screen on.
Bro, we need to make it a fortress, and I think we could do that, man. If we could get 3 points if we could get 9 points for all basically win all our home games. All you got to do is win all your home games, right? And probably like
all you got. The away games do scare me in general, but as a whole, I agree with you. There needs to be 100% record. Whether that happens is another thing. But that's where I'm looking at with a bit of confidence, because if I look at the Prem, and I don't know why. And I know we had that crazy Aston Villa game last season, but it seems like we're better away from home. We're more professional. We're more mature. We just seem to close up shop. It's at the Emirates where there's the dramas, the Man Uniteds, the Bournemouths, and games like that. I don't know, why is it for you? In fact, better yet, you know, why do you think we concede so cheaply at home versus away? Why do you think the games are more entertaining, I would say, for the neutrals at the Emirates versus away from home, where in a good way, we're quite boring. We just turn up, win, clean sheet. Like, you look at the Crystal Palace last half an hour to the goals we quote unquote conceded against United or Forest or whatever, for example, or Fulham. It's like there's 2 different defensive teams, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think at home, I feel like it's like I feel like it's a sense of it, like entitlement, if that makes sense. Like we're Arsenal, we're at home, so maybe that's not the right word. Like I don't know, man. It's just like, okay, cool, we're at homes, and they feel like they're gonna have most of the ball. We're gonna have most of the possession, which we are because we're at home. But at the same time, I feel like they're just taking that. They're not more defensively swithed on than they are away. Obviously, because
there's a bit of complacency.
Yeah, it's complacent because when you're away, it's us. It's us. The group who you not come with, the coach and the fan base in the corner, and it's us versus the whole stadium. You know what I'm saying? That it's war, innit? It's us versus them. So we just
every tackle is championed by the home fans and whatnot away from home. You're right.
So we got to lock it in, and we got with that mentality of no mistakes, boys. We got to come out here we got 3 points and we got to go home. When we're at home, you think, yeah, you're comfortable. Okay, cool. We're gonna grow into the game. We know we're gonna have possession. We're gonna create chances, but at the same time, you still got to lock it in. You still got to have that same mentality away from home, at home, if not even more, because we're at home. Yeah. I want teams to, when they come to Arsenal, I want them to say, geez, 3 points is mine.
You want the games won and lost in the tunnel, really, just like to go back to what you said about Highbury.
Yeah, man, of course. Like, a lot of teams that go to City, they already know they're not getting anything.
Yeah.
They already know that. Arsenal is starting to get to that way because a couple of years ago, they know, okay, we could probably get points from Arsenal.
We can rough them up. We might get 3 points.
Yeah, everyone came here tried to say, yo, we could get a point. We could get a point, 3 points if we're lucky. Everyone was trying their luck here. It was like it was like a golden ticket. It's kind of changing. Bro, big man thing. It was kind of changing.
It's true. We had that thing about being soft Arsenal. You know, it either goes 2 ways. You rough us up, you have a chance, or you let us play our Wenger ball and things like that. You hit us on the counter. Bob's your uncle, innit? We all know how the story went for years.
Bro, when Troy Deeney came on our show and we was talking about, bro, what was like about Arsenal? He said, bro, he even said, I liked Arsenal. He said, I rate Arsenal. I love the way how you lot play. We know we can't play ball for ball with you lot. We can't do it. We're going to get bumped off the park. But at the time, he said, what we did know is you guys didn't fancy it. When it came down to the nitty gritties and the corners and the shuffling, the hustle and bustle and pushing man and stepping on a man's toe, He said, we knew as a collective, we had that over you lot. Because mentally, what you did when you did have it with the Keons, the Adams, the Vieiras, it left. And obviously, a lot of teams knew that. So they knew they could bully us. That's another thing with this team now. I say that to say this team's more stronger physically. Yeah. Arteta said, okay.
We're getting some height in the team as well, man.
The team's massive now, bro. It's a big physical team. And it looks great against matching up against City because they're a big team themselves. So we matched up against them when we played them in the Charity Shield. We didn't look small. We didn't look intimidated. Like, obviously, they played great ball, but physically, corners and all this other stuff, they couldn't beat us.
Like you said, belief, because against City, there were periods, obviously, they're going to have us camped in a half. We're going to rely on Ramsdale. There might be a heart-in-mouth moment, but we keep fighting. And that's what I do like about Mikel Arteta. What have you made of Arteta since he's become gaffer?
Bruv, I've liked him from day one, bro. I'm not even going to lie to you. I swear to God, I've never said Arteta out. I've never tweeted it. I've never said it online. No social platform. Never. I was the only one on my show that was saying, yo, give him time. Everyone was like, nah, he's done. I'm saying, yo, give him time. Because I could see what he's trying to do. I could see the patterns of play, but you don't have the players. That's all I was saying to the man then. You don't have the players. This is not his team. So what he's doing right now, he's playing a back five, which he was. Remember, he's three at the back and he's playing two wing backs. He has to, because we can't lose games.
And he didn't trust them at the time. You're right.
Trust them. You man ain't good enough to play ball at the back. My keeper, Bert Leno, weren't good enough to pass out the back. Socrates ain't good enough to pass out the back.
Definitely not, really. Luis can do it, but he just can't be focused for 90 minutes.
Exactly. Bellerin, you're not good enough to do that, etc., etc. So I've always been behind him, even when he finished 8th, and when he finished 8th twice, and he finished 5th. I could see the transition. I could see that we're playing a bit attractive, better football. It's getting better. We're getting the players in. Now that we're here, I think he's the manager to take us forward, bro. And I think that's another thing. When fans say, yo, you lot must sack him if you don't win anything. I think generally they're saying that because they know they're scared.
Yeah.
They're scared.
Yeah, man. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, man. Like, bro, the context would have to apply. They have to finish 10th and football's dead and results are on the floor. I wouldn't agree with that, really, especially when obviously I'm not in charge of it, but I can't sit here and say who takes over this project in line with what we're doing if Arteta leaves tomorrow. I like Xabi Alonso at Leverkusen, for example, but I could, or De Zerbi at Brighton, but I don't know the plans. And it goes back to what we said earlier. It's just agendas. You must do this, you must do that. Exactly. Don't get twisted. Expectations are there. Money's been spent, and not that there's been many managers. Post Wenger, he's had the most sort of authority over the team. Like, Emery had to be a bit more diplomatic. He was allowed to rub players out and cancel up contracts. But Arteta's the man for now, man. And you touched on it there. You know, for me, the year we finished 5th is when I was like, okay, I see what really and truly what you're doing now. Obviously, we fell short, and then the next year we did better. And last year, obviously, we saw how it ended, but it was good in between. So I'm cool with Arteta, man.
Yeah, but because people don't clip this up, whatever. I'm not comparing him to Klopp. I think Klopp is a better manager than Arteta. He is. But what the thing is, the difference between Klopp and Arteta just, it came sporadically. Arsenal came out of nowhere. It wasn't meant to happen. Klopp, it was a general progress. You could see the progression. And what gave Klopp credit in the bank? He banked the Champions League. So that gave him credit in the bank. Obviously, we banked a FA Cup, but that don't hold as much weight. Obviously not. So when Klopp was going against this juggernaut team of Pep Guardiola and this Man City team, and he was coming up short every 2 seconds, no one was saying if he doesn't win the next season, he has to get sacked. They were saying they need to kick on and try go again and try catch them
and get something that moves the needle for them. Yeah,
exactly. And no one's having that same energy for us. But I don't want anybody to have that same energy of us. But I'm just saying, use the same logic. You know what I'm saying? Because Arteta's theoretically is doing the same thing that Klopp's trying to do, trying to chase down this manager. He's one of the best managers, if not is an argument, the best manager ever. And it's hard. This guy Arteta just came into management 3 years ago, bro.
Exactly. He's still in not to disrespect him, but he's still a baby in terms of a manager, really and truly. He's still learning on the job, and he will make mistakes and things like that. So what would you say our squad is better this year versus last year? Because that's been a debate for Arsenal fans. Or is it like a sideward step?
I think we've improved drastically in the midfield, obviously, with Declan Rice. So, but at the same time, people would say Havertz has dragged us back. I think if Timber was fit, I'd say yes. But because Timber's not fit, because Timber's not fit, it's like let's see how far we can ride this wave. Personally, but if we had Timber, because defensively, I think we'd be all right. I don't think we'll concede that much goals. If we had Timber, I still think we'll be defensively all right now. But with Timber, I think it would just been even more like it would have been shut up shop. But It's improved. I think we could have done with a striker. I personally think, and I know
I'm happy you said that still.
Yeah, no shade to Eddie Nketiah because I think he's good. I
He's
personally think
developing quite well, man. He's
Yeah.
becoming a household Premier League name of sorts. I just don't think our two strikers get enough goals. I believe in Jesus. I think you're too good enough not to get 20 odd league goals. But as you said, we're fighting City. They've got Haaland, Bagsman. They've got Alvarez, Bagsman. They've got plenty of other quality. I do think we need a striker. I do think we'll get one next summer. Who that is, I don't know. The market looks meaty, really.
Bruv, I tweeted this morning, Arsenal's only missing piece, and I put a picture of Osimhen.
Yeah, that's why I was going to ask you about striker, because I see that tweet still.
Bruv,
I was like,
Osimhen. He's the only... And people say, yeah, it's far-fetched, you're not going to get him. We might not, but listen, if you want to try and catch the Man Cities, if you want to be up there competing in Champions League against the Bayern Munichs, the Real Madrids, and all these other top-tier teams, yeah?
You need a Bagsman.
You need him because he's at a good club, Napoli. They're a good club, and what he done for them last season, and Skillier on the left-hand side, and whatever it may be, Kim Min-jae, great, they won the league. But he's not staying there forever because Napoli, the Italian league for one, is a good league, but they don't generate as much money. And two, the competition's not that high. And three, obviously, he wants to come to the Premier League. Ultimately, everyone wants to come in the Premier League. It's the big window. Everybody wants to be there. So if you want to take it to the next level, Arsenal, or anyone who wants to get that player, you need to get Osimhen or a player like him because he's a rare commodity right now because he's one of the best strikers in the league in the world right now. Not saying he's world class, but in the pool of strikers that's around at a club that is not really going to kick on, if that makes sense. I'm saying he's the kind of player that we need, bro. Someone like Osimhen will take us to the next level. Could you imagine you had Osimhen in this team?
Bro, we go from scoring 80 odd goals, not even just Osimhen, anyone really of that realm. You go from getting 80 odd goals to 100, and then you've got the best of both worlds where Jesus, if you can score 20 odd league goals and do what you're doing, great. Eddie, if you could chip in the Sakas, the Martinellis, all them man, Odegaards, if they could keep scoring, we're great. Because one thing I have liked about Arteta, more so last year than necessarily now, the goals are getting spread around really. You know, Saka, when he first was coming through and doing his goal scoring, if Saka weren't bagging, we weren't really scoring or we weren't really going to do anything. You've obviously got Trossard who can get a goal or two as well and an assist. So I'm here for it, man. What do you make of Havertz really? Because you know, obviously we all know Declan Rice has been great. Timber, you've showed me something new in the same way. Like I was Team Tierney, but when I saw what Zinchenko brings, it's hard to go back. The same with Timber. So many people be happy with them two signings, but Havertz is the one where like, oh, you know what? And I'm pretty sure you're the same ilk where, you know, I definitely weren't saying sign Havertz, but I'll trust in Arteta. But like, I don't understand football like you, Arteta. But like this Havertz thing, I don't know like what's going on. Really, 60 odd million. It's a bit crazy.
I can see the logical side behind it, what he did think and how he thinks it's going to pan out. Obviously, last year, Granit Xhaka, he was a free role. If you want to think, to be honest, like he'll do his defensive duties because I think that's his way inclined. I think he loves a tackle, he loves a challenge, so he would do that anyway. But Arteta said, you know what, you're more damaged down here, You're more damage to the team, but more of a detriment to the team down here than you up there.
Facts.
Go up, go push up, go do that, go press and do what you got to do. So I think he had that mentality in his head where, okay, cool. If I can get a player that's probably the same stature as Granit Xhaka, because he's not a small man.
No, that's the thing with Havertz. He's 6 foot odd. He does help us out physically. I just think when you compare him to Xhaka, obviously, like you said, Xhaka's committed. He's flying into tackles. He's a heart on sleeve kind of guy. It's easy to describe him as physical. You don't necessarily see that watching the games with Havertz, even though he does do that kind of stuff. And I do think he helps out defensively. I don't know what he's missing. I think he's missing a bunch of things for me, man.
Yeah, and Arteta's probably thinking, okay, once this hits, and if it might do, it might not. It could be a success because obviously he's more creative than Granit Xhaka. Obviously, in front of goal, he's not a bagsman, but he scores goals. He's more cool, calm, collected than Granit Xhaka. Xhaka's a midfielder. Havertz has been playing up front most of his life, or in the final third.
He needs to find them shooting boots, though. I
can't even lie, man. He needs to find it, but yeah. So in a free, like I could see what Arteta wants to happen and how he wants and how we could see the vision of his team panning out with Havertz in there. But at the same time, right now, it's not working. And at the same time, while it's not working, it's a bit of a detriment to the team because that left-hand side is looking lopsided. And it's hurting Martinelli. Because there's times, even against Manchester United, he didn't know when to overlap or like they just look out of sync. They look like two footballers that's just playing with each other, that don't know each other, but they're just going off vibes. There's no synchronization.
Probably are, man. They ain't played much together, man. You're probably right.
Yeah, facts. And they haven't played with each other for long. But I'm gonna give it time because 4 games, bro. Come on, what the hell is this?
No.
4 games,
I agree with you, man. People can't draw him out after 4 games. You can be underwhelmed. You can ask questions. I'm not saying give him time to give him time's sake, but I do think it's only been 4 games. And to be honest, the last 2 games are the only ones I've thought, okay, Havertz, I can't see enough now. United, don't think he did enough. Fulham, think he was underwhelming.
Maybe it takes a game like the North London derby to just kick him on, because sometimes it takes big moments and big goals in football to make somebody's career kick on, so you can actually feel like, okay, I belong here. The fans, he might get. I would love him to get like a brace against Tottenham or a big club or a meaningful game where we need to score. I'd love it, because maybe that's the confidence he needs. Okay, cool. Because these players know what's happening, bro. They all listen to social media. Everyone has phones. Everyone scrolls, so he knows
Everyone's got friends and family that you might find this really and truly. Like, and plus they're self-reflecting. They know that they say Havertz knows he's not playing well enough, or in his mind he's not playing as well as he wants to. Like, no one would have to tell him that.
He knows that. Arteta hears it. The teammates hear it. So obviously it's a confidence thing. Some players they're confidence players. You put their arm around them, and you show trust in them, which is Arteta is doing, because he's probably thinking, yo, if I bench this guy 4 games in, his confidence is shot. And that's the difference between Arteta and certain other managers. Certain managers is ruthless of benching him, you're not good enough. Where Arteta is a good man, he's good man management. He's very good at that. He was good at that at Man City. Even some of the City players have said that. Kevin De Bruyne said it. His man management 1-to-1, even interacting.
You watch the documentaries, you're right.
Yeah, interacting with people and interacting with players. He's great at that. So maybe he's just putting his faith in Havertz. Probably a bit too longer than what we expect or what we think he should be, but he's the manager at the end of the day, and I just want to give him a bit more than 4 games, because if he scores something that scores a clinical goal for us or a crucial goal, and if it does get right, he could be a big game player, because he is working hard off the ball, not great, but he's not just walking around and doing it. He's doing bits and bobs. Don't get me wrong, but it's not enough, because. Facts. If this was Arsenal 3 years ago and we signed Havertz and he's doing this, maybe we'd be like, okay,
for him, man.
It'd be peak for him. And at the same time, some fan base would be like, okay, cool, this is the standards we're at. But now we've taken it to another level. We're not at that level no more where you could just be carrying man, and we're trying to win the league. When you're trying to win the league, you can't have no passengers, bro. Probably for a game or 2, but not for games. So I'm giving him time personally, because 4 games in and everybody's crucifying this man and all these other clubs' agendas, and you cost 60 million. I said, bro, so what? Like, it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. For someone like Havertz as well, because no one expected us to get Havertz. No one said, the key thing is to get Havertz. Now, no one said that. But at the same time, I kind of trust Arteta to some degree. He's got that much credit from me in the bank, because Ramsdale, no one wanted him. That was an outroll when he was linked to
People didn't want Benjamin White either.
50 million.
People didn't even want Odegaard, much less off the back of his loan spell. Really?
Facts. People were saying, why are you getting Odegaard when you could get Maddison there for half the price? Blah, blah, blah. So he knows what he wants. He's got most of the pieces put together. So he knows what it's meant to look like. He just has to get Havertz up and running, and hopefully it's very soon, man. So it'd be nice if he scored against Tottenham, North London derby. I think that'll give him confidence and give him a sense of belief, like, okay, I belong here. These fans are behind me, because we haven't been behind him as much as we've been Declan Rice. He hasn't had the same support. I'm not saying I feel sorry for him. I don't, because he's a professional footballer. He's getting paid big bread. He's getting paid the most at the club. So you're meant to be performing, but at the same time, I'm giving him more than 4 games. That's all I'm saying. But if it gets to like the 10th game or the 7th game or the 8th game, whatever game it may be, and you're still putting in these kind of performances, brother, something has to happen. Because there's other players on the bench like Smith Rowe, players like Trossard.
Fabio Vieira's banging on the door. Must be banging on the door. Banging on the door.
You could even play a Jesus there and play Eddie up front. Even he could
run stuff like that, to be fair with you.
I'm just saying something different. I'm not saying it should happen. Something different. You know what I'm saying? Play Jorginho deeper. Play Rice up the pitch, or play Rice deeper. The system, as Arteta has shown, he's not scared to do. Make us unpredictable, as he said. Yeah, and like it's not the days where Arsenal had only 3 men on the bench. We've got man on the bench that's ready to come and play now.
And affect the game positively, impactors, as Arteta says.
100%.
As shown against United, ironically.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give him a bit more time still, me personally, because I just don't think as a fan base, I personally thought that we was over that, crucifying our players, and to a certain degree.
Nah, we're never gonna leave that, bro. You know, Arsenal fans, we will gas up players to the high heavens, but at the same token, we'll crucify players, man. Even towards the end of last year, Saka, everybody loves Saka, but every now and again, there's sections of Arsenal fans, they're on to Saka, they're on to Jorginho, they're on to this guy, they're on to that guy, man, and it just shows how fickle football is. And at the same time, I wouldn't even call it fickle because it is about what you're doing, not necessarily about what you've done. And I don't believe in necessarily being loyal to the players past the point. We're loyal to the football club. And at the end of the day, you know, we just want the best for the football club. You made some interesting points. And that's how I feel about Havertz, in the sense of Arteta's earned credit in the bank for me. It doesn't mean I'll blindly follow anything, but if you're say Arteta's not going to deploy a system or bring in individuals that's going to harm us in it, so I'll give Arteta the luxury of the doubt with Havertz. You must see something in it, but at the same time, you know, other players are banging on the door. You know, the collective comes before the individuals, and at some point, something has to change with Havertz. Maybe dropping him to the bench to allow him to instill that confidence. And at the same time, when I look at Havertz, you're a Champions League winner, you're a German international, you've got a wealth of experience coming into this team. I look at you in the same vein. I kind of looked at Jesus, Zinchenko, Odegaard, Ramsdale. I know Ramsdale got relegated, but you've been in high pressure professional environments where there's hella testosterone. You win, lose, and draw. It's all handbags and stuff like that. So it kind of the problem with Havertz. And I do like the fact that Havertz can play in a couple of roles, but I think he needs to discover himself. And I think it's a thing where he's going to play as a left 8 or maybe even a right 8 once, but you can play up front. I just think, as you said, Havertz just needs a goal or anything, and then he's going. But at the same time, my biggest worry is, obviously, when you're playing for Arsenal Football Club, you've got to get that confidence yourself. Arteta can tell you everything. Your parents can tell you everything. Your family can tell you everything. But he needs to get into that headspace where if I have a good game, I'm not a bad player. If I have a good game, I'm not necessarily a good player. I've just got to keep going, man. And I agree with what you said in that, regardless what we think about Havertz, whether it works or not, I don't want to write a man off that's probably signed a 4 or 5 year deal, 4 games, 5 if you want to include the Charity Shield, into his time at Arsenal, man. I just feel the Havertz one was the high risk, high reward, and that was the one that was really going to define our summer, because that's the midfield signing. We have got our new look midfield. Obviously, Declan Rice, great footballer. Havertz has come into play as at 8. I don't know how Havertz at this moment in isolation, in his own way, gets us closer to City. So fortunately, I'm not Arteta in it. I don't see the game how he sees the game. So I hope it bangs where Havertz is concerned, man. Really and truly.
Yeah,
I really do, man.
I really do. I really do hope it works out for him as a player as well as us for a club and for us as fans, man. Because, bro, we're at a level now. It's fine margins, bro. Because we're going
fine margins. And again, City, fine margins. That's why I'm kind of more harsher on the team, because the expectations has gone. And even me, I've got, as much as I say we shouldn't be loyal to players, I was upset Tierney when, you know, I was initially upset when Tomiyasu became a marginalized figure, but the more levels we got, the harsher you have to be. People that helped us become a top 4 team, they might not be able to either be at the club or play a prominent role in getting us league titles and things like that. And I like Arteta because he's shown that. There was a point where he was playing Aubameyang, playing Pepe, playing Xhaka, and obviously time has shown us that, boy, like, Arteta's loyal to the club, he's loyal to himself in a nice way, and he's going to make harsh decisions to get us to where we need to get to as a football club, really and truly. What have you made? Go on.
No, bro, you make a good point. It's true that it's fine margins, man. And if this was 2-3 seasons ago and we're fighting for top 4, you can make the mistakes. You can afford to play someone like Havertz because you can afford to drop points along the way in the season. Now we haven't got no time for that.
Every point counts, man.
Every single point counts. So whereas he might not fit in the system now, and we say, oh, you might fit in later, and we could pick up a few points here and there, drop a few points here and there, and we're going for top 4, and we could try to make Champions League that way. We're not at that stage no more. So like Arteta knows it has to work kind of like fast.
Because Arteta's got to protect his own job, bro. Because you know it doesn't matter about Havertz and these, man. You're the first person, and in theory, managers are more disposable. If Havertz has signed a 4 or 5 year deal, we know Arteta is going to be here for time. But there could be a reality where Arteta gets sacked before Kai Havertz or anybody, quote unquote, leaves the club, man.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Just in theory, like it's the reality of being a football manager. You know, I swear they say when you get on a plane, you need to pattern your own life thing before you help other people. Like that's how being a manager is really. Like you have to pattern your own thing first before you help other people. And it's high risk, high reward. Like I don't think we just signed Havertz off a whim and stuff like that. There was clearly a methodical process, but right now it does look like Chelsea robbed both us and Man United for Kai Havertz and Mason Mount. But they brought in over 100 million on them. You know, only City looked like they got the benefit of the doubt with Kovacic, but obviously it's easy to kind of coast in the City team versus the two other clubs.
Let me ask you a question. Of our next 6 games, just tell me win, loss, or draw. I'm sorry, before we get to City, we got Everton away.
Fucking hell. Everton away, that's this Sunday. We haven't travelled well to Everton in recent weeks, and I mean in recent years, and their form ain't been the best. You know what? Draw. I want to say win. I wanted to say win. But I don't want to lie in it. Goodison Park scares me because we always mess about over there. It does,
I hear
man.
it.
It scares me, man.
We haven't had great records over there of late, like the past couple of years. Like
but our away form has been better.
Yeah, it has. For some reason, they always get something over us. I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't know, but I think this time we owe them one, and I think we're gonna do them over this time.
That's the thing. You know what? Win. You're convincing me. Win.
The team is more bigger, it's more stronger, and it's it's earlier in the season. More time when we play Everton, it's always like in the middle of the season or the end of the season.
The winter months, crunch time.
Yeah, we got
injuries there. Yeah,
last season, like new manager bounce. Shaw Dyche came back, stadium's buzzing.
They
weren't that great.
That was probably our worst performance as a whole last season because there was no positives from that Goodison Park game at all.
Arsenal versus PSV.
Win, man, win. I want revenge from when we lost to them in the group. Revenge, win. We need to start the Champions League in a great way. I swear we're at home as well. Victory.
Yeah, we are. I think that's going to be a great game. I think that's going to be a game there. I think the fans are going to be.
They ain't got Xavi Simons or Gakpo anymore as well. Not to disrespect who's at the club. So victory. And I swear Ruud van Nistelrooy, is he still the manager? I don't even know, but on to them.
Yeah.
Win, man.
That's a win. All right, this is the big one. Arsenal versus Tottenham.
What
do you make of Tottenham so far?
I can't lie. Postecoglou, they're playing ball in it. Like they're looking all right. They're faring a lot better post Harry Kane than I thought. I hope it's a managerial bounce because I remember when we went on I used to get a lot of heat for it. I think our unbeaten run under Unai Emery was stinky. Like it was mad stinky. Yeah. We're coming from behind against Cardiff and that. So I hope that's what they're doing. They're looking all right, man. And Doggy looks good. Maddison looks good. They're inverted fullbacks. Richarlison's still stinking up the joint. But I can't lie, Spurs do look good. But win, man. If we don't beat Spurs, I don't know what we're on. These are the games now. We need to get back to winning 6 points off them lot. Man. Nothing else. W. Most important game in the calendar, bro. I can't lie to you.
This is going to be a tough game, though. Because
it will be.
Once you play Tottenham, Arsenal, form goes out the window. It's all about
form does go out the window.
It's about who can.
And we've both been all right as well, which is kind of mad.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's going to be a good spectacle.
Man, we should have enough in that, man. At home as well.
I think we'll have enough. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I don't think we're going to blow them away straight away. If they're
going to get a penalty, they always do, post Harry Kane or not. But hopefully we do our job, man.
Hopefully, I think it's going to be a good game though. But I think the positives for us, and I think it'll go in our favor, is if they want to try come and play football against us at our ground, I think it's going to hurt them. Seriously,
bro, they get finessed. Madison can hang with us, like but. Boy, and that Ondogi's decent, and Basuma's been in good form, but that's like free man. No one else can play ball. Shout out, son. They'll get bullied. The only problem is, like we said earlier, the Emirates were a bit lax. We're a bit more on the front foot. The fans are gassing us. We're a bit more ambitious in how we play. Yeah. Like, I don't know for the transitions. That's the only thing that harms us. But W, man, like I can't predict nothing else, man. We need to be winning that.
All right, Brentford away. W.
Is that in the Prem or the League Cup?
Yeah, League Cup. Okay, whatever. Man.
Do you know what? We might lose that, man, because I just see Arteta making rotations and allowing some man that have played a marginalised role, really. So I think we might throw that.
We might struggle with that. You're right, and because I think Brentford's going to go for a stronger team because obviously that's a trophy they can.
Man. You'd imagine Smith Rowe and Raya get a look in, not to knock them. Just obviously we're going to lose a lot players that probably don't have enough fluidity in the legs. I think he'll make changes, and I'm sure that game is sandwiched between the Champions League and the Prem, so he might just. Arteta might just take a little hit, like short-term loss for a long-time gain. He might just say, you know what, you man get a run out.
I want to see a good performance though from these other players though.
Oh yeah, don't get twisted. Yeah,
100%. I want to see a good performance, and I'm excited to see Raya play. If ESR gets a game, I would love to see how he plays. I want to see.
Imagine Trossard starts as well. Nelson might.
Yeah, but then again,
Kirill potentially.
Yeah, it would have been nice if we got a bit of an easier draw.
Yeah. It would have been nice to play at home and play a lesser team with the greatest of respect.
Just fling all of them in there.
Yeah. You lot just do your thing.
And they're still Prem. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get embarrassed. You don't want to get fours and what I'm saying.
This is what I'm talking about. And Brentford away is nasty. Any competition, it's a nasty game. Like,
Bournemouth
we might lose that. You say?
Bournemouth away?
Nah, win, man, win. I know Bournemouth are dodgy, but like these are the games now. Like you were saying in previous years, these are the games we start doing mad things. Like I remember, what was it, like 2-2 or 3-3? Giroud's all celebrating and that. These are the games we need to just rock up and win. Like with the greatest respect to Bournemouth, if we want to fight City, 3 points, nothing less, man. Greatest of respect. They should be all thinking about who they're playing the next week and just writing off the Arsenal game. Have to win that, man.
And the last one before City is Lens Champions League away. So I think we should get points from them.
Nah, we need to win that. Win.
And then the rest is City at home, Chelsea away. But that's all.
Chelsea win, City boy.
We'll think about that when we get.
Yeah, man. Deal with that next occasion, man. City boy. I don't know. Let's hope we catch them on a bad day or something, man.
Yeah, City, man. I don't know. I don't like the fact that everyone's saying, yeah, but they might be a bit weaker. Brother, this is Man. Yes,
this is Man City and Pep, bro.
They've lost
team and stuff.
Mahrez, they've lost goals and they've lost a bit of creativity. They have, but at the same time, they'll find it somewhere else because that's what Pep does. He always finds it. And
Pep's not an idiot. He just won a treble. And he's letting man go. There's a mad plan that this guy has. Now, I hope I'm wrong. They drop off a bit. Arsenal can benefit not just in that game in the league, but Pep's paid too much money. He's been in the game. He stayed at that level for far too long through making the right decisions. So I know he's got something, you know. He's only going to let certain man leave that club, even down to Cole Palmer and that, who might have got more chances with the other players you mentioned leaving. He's got a plan, bro. He's got a plan. He's beefy, man. I can't lie. Pep's scary, man.
Bro, he just bought one of the best young centre-backs in the world.
This is what I'm saying. And he brought in Kovacic as well, which ain't a dead signing at all, really.
The winger.
This is him as well. And he'll iron him out, really. He just needs to improve his end product. He's scary as well if he can improve his output and decision-making.
I think that's one of the things that City has lacked. They've always had people that can play out wide, but they cut in.
Yeah, the fancy inside forwards. And
he's
direct. He's raggle with it. He just wants to rip you. And they got Alvarez, who's probably going to play more of a prominent role now as well, which he has. Foden's still there. You've still got Grealish. You've still got quality ballers. And this is all assuming that, you know, maybe if we hit January, City don't typically do it, but they might reinvest into the market if there's an opportunity for them to take advantage of. So, boy, it's easier said than done.
Let me ask you a question. If it's not us challenging City, which I think it will, who's the outside team? Because I don't think it's going to be a 2-horse race. I think the third team will tail off, but I personally think go on.
Slightly Liverpool, you know, slightly on the slice of one.
They will be there.
I would say United, but it just with the United thing, they're a bit like where we was a few years ago. Is that couple injuries, couple players lost, they're finished really. And I do see what Ten Hag's doing, but I just don't think they're there yet. I'd probably say Liverpool slightly, but Liverpool ain't got a 6. Depth might kill Liverpool. I mean, people might say the last time Chelsea weren't in anything, they challenged, but this ain't the same Chelsea side, really. It's not the same sort of thing they're doing. I would go Liverpool if I had to, really. I'd have to go Liverpool. I'd have to.
Yeah.
But it might even be a year where, obviously, I don't think a team like Leicester's going to win the league, but this might be a year where a team like Brighton, that's just been quietly for the last 2 years assembling stuff, they might excel expectations and not necessarily challenge, as you said, but fall by the wayside. But if I had to bet money, I'd say Liverpool purely because they've done it before. I do like their signings. I think the only thing that would harm them is gelling their new signings in and a lack of depth and another 6, really, because they let Fabinho and Henderson go. They can only really play one way, really. I'd probably have to say Liverpool slyly. Yeah,
because like you said, they wanted Lavia, they wanted Caicedo, they wanted to plug that hole with a 6.
This is it.
They got this Endo guy. He's people saying he's looking promising, but we don't know.
I know nothing about him.
We don't know. Yeah, no one does really know. And obviously, the Premier League's very tough. It's very challenging mentally, physically. So we don't know if he's going to stick around or be good for the rest of the season. But what Liverpool do have is a frightening attack, and that attack will get them out a lot of
Mr. Mo Salah. Like what you were saying with Osimhen, Salah, regardless of what happens with the season, bro, he's getting numbers. If he doesn't get numbers, something crazy's happened, and that turns some defeats into draws and some draws into victories. And as you said, like when you're fighting City where every point matters, 2 points could be the difference between winning the league or not. So we need to fix up.
Have to fix up, because I think Liverpool, I'm not while Jurgen Klopp's there, I'm not counting them out.
You can't count them out. He's the one man that's been able to do what we haven't done currently and defeat Pep. He lost the war, but he won a couple battles still.
Their back line's a bit shaky because they got 1 or 2 man if they get injured. You've got 1 or 2 man that's a bit injury prone back there. So that is, I think that's a bit of a
depth can be the only thing that kills them.
They've got a bit of defensive frailties back there, but at the same time, if everybody's fit for that Liverpool team, they'll be firing on all cylinders. So I think Liverpool is a bit of not dark. I don't want to say a dark horse because it's disrespectful, because just a season before last, they was fighting for all 4 trophies. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, okay, they're out of it, but I'm saying for me, I've got a close eye still on Liverpool. I don't just think,
Yeah,
okay,
if I had to bet money, I go with Liverpool. I think United, there's still a couple bodies short, and they're still a bit too early in what Ten Hag wants to do for all his faults. Like they're only now starting to become a team that can actually play out from the back. Like when we spoke about Arsenal United, one thing I didn't mind about them is the players that did want the ball. Like their attackers are dropping into their home half, and Lissandro and Onana, you lot can do the passing thing in your home half. We're not being caught, and as you said, they're just hitting it to Rashford. So I still think their evolution ain't quite there, and I just feel when you look at Man United, there's too many off the field things and inconsistent players in their front line. I'd have to bet on Liverpool. I'd have to bet on Liverpool,
yeah,
really, you know. But then again, people might say Arsenal, Newcastle, and Man United. None of us were in Champions League last year. How are we all navigating that? Because slightly, even Newcastle, it's only 4 games. They're struggling right now. On the slice of ones, it's a bit meaty from them.
But they say, but in their defense, they are struggling, and but in their defense, they've had some tough teams at the same time. So
fair enough, you're right.
I give them that because I wouldn't know their start to the season was rough.
I wouldn't want their start. I wouldn't want their Champions League group. Big up Newcastle, man. Still,
they had City,
Liverpool,
Brighton, and Villa.
Yeah, Villa with Emre, that's quietly going about his business as well. To be fair, with you.
That's tough. So Newcastle, I'm yet to see how they play against the more of the lesser teams to see if they could pick up points and gather.
Even that you said that, I think that's what it's about in this league now. I think if you can, in theory, you can have a shaky record against the top 6 as long as you're picking up the other points. And that's my only criticism of Arsenal, in that we're beating teams we're expected to, but we do have that error of messing up. And also, I think when Liverpool won the league in comparison to us, like, if we beat City, it's a shocker. Like, we're all amazed. When Liverpool were doing it, it is what it is. If Liverpool win or United win, City win, sorry, it is what it is. We need to get into that realm where we genuinely take some points off City and it doesn't shock the world, really and truly.
Yeah, because when it was a battle. It was basically, okay, everyone knew they was going to win games up until that point, until they played.
Exactly.
So we don't know who's going to win out of them two. Everybody, Arsenal's still not quite there yet. We're favourites to win games now, because we're a better team. But when Liverpool was doing it, you just knew.
And their players were in their prime as well. Our players ain't really entered their prime like that. Like Salah was Salah, Mane was Mane. You had Alisson and Van Dijk. You had the many options. We ain't really got that. Like, who really is the finished product at Arsenal? The Jorginhos, the Partey's, when Xhaka was here, players that are on the wrong side of 30. Everyone, Saka ain't scratched the surface. Havertz is still defining himself. Jesus is obviously an established baller, but in terms of goal scoring and being a number 9, he's still trying to be known for that. Obviously, Trossard, what you see is what you get. Not saying these players can't improve, but like, there's only 3-4 players that, you know, aren't going to improve dramatically at Arsenal. Everyone else is still defining themselves, and this is why we need to pick up points. I still, in a nice way, and in a nice way and a bad way, actually, there's just so many unanswered questions about Arsenal. This is why I believe we can fight for the league, but I don't know if we're going to fight for the league. Really, it's a bit of a mixed bag, man. It's
an emotional roller coaster, because, like you said,
you have it.
We know we're good enough to get to where we was last season because we've done it. But now it's all about mental. Are you ready to fight to get back there?
We don't know how the landscape's going to be. Like, just because we were second last year and everything fell into place, it don't mean it's a carbon copy, really. Like, it's a different movie sort of thing.
It is, but it's complete different movie. And like I said before, players and teams are going to come for us and they want to try to stop Arsenal. But the thing is that one of the main super good positives of this season is we've got a player like Declan Rice who wants to kick on. And wants
serious, brother. The way he talks, he's serious, man.
Serious, bro. And he's a leader. He's a leader. And hopefully that rubs off on some of the players in and around the club. And I don't think he's doing it in an arrogant way.
No, it's organic, man. You can tell he's serious, but he's a lad, man. Like, he's not one of them guys that think they're a teacher. It just rubs off naturally. He's one of them that if you're messing around and you see him serious, you almost feel embarrassed that you're not being serious. So you buck up your ideas.
Especially about the club. Especially a man that's if you've been there for years and you're messing around, you see this man just come out of nowhere.
It makes you think about your life.
Yeah, and he's leading an example, and he's becoming one of the top guys in the club. Obviously, think, if this guy's just coming and he's holding up higher standards and he's holding the standards what the manager wants from him, I have to step up.
What have you made of him, anyways, in the Arsenal shirt? While we're on the topic of Declan Rice,
he's good, man. I think he's cold, bro. And what he's doing is he's exuberant. He's bringing life. He's bringing energy to the midfield. I think he wants to challenge himself. He wants to push himself. Knowing that he's at a bigger club. No disrespect to West Ham, but he's at a bigger club. The expectations is higher. The price tag he came for, And I think he's just taking it all in his stride. And I think he's relishing the moment that he's playing for Arsenal at this current moment of time. Like he said in his interview, he wanted to play for Arsenal. And that's one of the big differences. It's not like we outbidded Man City, and that's the reason why we got him, because we paid.
He made it clear, Arteta. He said,
yeah,
I want him. I'm rolling.
So I want to fight for this team. He knew what Beast Week was before, winning titles and challenging on a consistent basis. And he wants to get us back to that level. And I think that's sick. We had a big discussion on Filthy Fellas 2 weeks ago. Who's better out of him and Partey in the 6? And I said, I think, me personally, who do you think? Both players fit, raring to go, no injuries.
Throughout the course of a season, I'd say Declan Rice. Because I think my only issues with Partey is there's only 2 things I use to kind of knock Partey. I think he's a quality player. I feel the injuries, you know, like you said, if we're fighting City, we need to be able to count on players. I'm never confident Partey is going to be fit for the whole season. And I would say, you know, Partey is good a lot of the time, but there's 4, 5, 6 games where he plays out of this world. I think Declan Rice plays closer to his optimum than Thomas Partey. Across the course of a season, I'd say Declan Rice. But them 5, 6 games, I think Rice is still learning to be a bit more like Jorginho and Partey in terms of being a bit more adventurous on the ball and ultimately get into them positions. And I love listening to Declan Rice, especially when he talks about what Arteta tells him to do, because he keeps saying he's teaching me to stand still rather than do the West Ham thing with the greatest of respect, where I have to kind of muck in and fight all the time. So probably, I'd say across a 38-game period, Declan Rice. I'd have more faith in Declan Rice.
I have more faith in Thomas Partey in the 6, personally.
Yeah.
I think Thomas Partey in the 6 is one of the best in the league, bro.
He is, but and Zinchenko said that, but I just don't feel Partey plays in the way that his highlight reel shows. Like, you look at the North London derby. I remember United a couple years ago where him and El Nene bossed it. I don't think we see that Thomas Partey enough, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's an age thing, his actual real age. I don't know if he's comfortable in London. I don't know what it is for Partey, bro. I don't know.
Yeah. On a consistent basis, obviously, he hasn't given us that 38-game spread or 38 games. He hasn't given us that full season because of injuries, isn't it? And like you said, maybe his age, we don't know. Maybe due to fitness, which is. And
let's be honest, Partey.
It's annoying,
lifestyle, man. He's comfy in London, man. He's raving all the time, man. Declan Rice probably hits the dance, but he knows when to stay at yard. Partey's kind of cashed out, man. If I'm honest, like, he's happy.
But at the same time,
he's scapegoated though.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're lucky, bro. We got 2 of the best in one team, so I'm not mad.
And Jorginho, we can step in as well, man. We pray for times like this, really. I still think we need a midfielder, if I'm honest.
Another 8?
Do you know what? I'm in 2 minds, because at one point, especially when we was linked with Caicedo, now obviously in hindsight, we're never going to do it. I thought, you know what, 2 6s, long-term Partey replacement with there. I know Declan Rice is kind of playing as an 8. It all depends on Havertz, really. I'd be happy with a 6. At this moment in time, I'd more want an 8, just because I got a taste of what it's like to see a midfielder once again in Xhaka, even for a year, just scoring 1-2 goals and assisting 1-2 things. And I really like the fact of Arteta. I don't know what he's done. I don't know why it is. I don't know why the players do, but the goals are quote unquote spread out. It's not just one man, really. So I'd probably say a more of an 8, really, because I honestly think we're a midfielder short. I'm happy to give this Havertz experiment. Clearly happy about Rice and Partey. Jorginho can step in. I don't think El Nene is anything to write home about, but I think he's calm at least for another year, 10 games, seeing out games. I just feel we're a centre mid short, man. I feel in terms of improving this side, if you could get a bagsman in front of goal, if you could get someone to compete with Saka, another centre mid, I'm kind of happy. I'm kind of cool, really. I think we're getting a quote unquote complete squad of sorts, really. I'd be happy, man.
Yeah, we're far from the finished article right now. We're definitely far from the finished article. But like you said, the team's young and we still got time to grow. I agree with you. I still think we need an 8. Because that gives, like you said, space for Declan Rice to move into the 6. And that's where he loves to play. That's why he's been playing most of his career. He said
that's where he's made his name up until this point.
Yeah, he could play the 8. I think he could definitely play the 8 as well. But if you want,
I'm keen to see that in years to come, man. I think Rice, I don't think he'll ever be a goal scoring midfielder, but I think there's a lot more attacking qualities he can show. He's starting to make them third man runs. Obviously, even prior to him scoring against Man United, there's been times he's been close. He was close against Fulham, if I can remember correctly. He was close with a header against United, and he almost scored against City as well. So he's learning quickly on the job, which I think is very underrated aspect of football. How quick can you learn and apply what the gaffer's telling you?
And he's got a good final pass. He's got a good. Remember that against Crystal Palace?
Exactly.
Eddie and Ketia, like just
Another game where he should have scored, but Eddie should have bagged that chance that you're on about as well.
So yeah, he would have
even in the build up for the penalty against United, bro, which we didn't get with Havertz. It's Eddie and Rice kind of regulating it and setting it, and then obviously we never got it.
So yeah, he's at the same time, as well as he is a defensive player, he's a forward thinker.
He's got qualities, yeah.
He's got quality. So yeah, I think an 8 would be good. I think Declan Rice and behind someone, I don't know, like a just to say for quote unquote someone like a Barella or Enzo, because I think Enzo
something like that. Even Enzo would have been perfect. I know I always get onto him because he plays for Chelsea, but that would be perfect. He'd enhance his attacking players, because you know with Declan Rice behind you, you can be adventurous. He'll get you out of trouble. You might play a misplaced pass and he'll get you out of trouble in that regards, man. I'd be with that, man. What do you make of David Raya versus Ramsdale, man? Because if I'm Ramsdale, I'll be looking at my gaffer like, right, you did me a bit dirty, really. I'm happy with it as a fan.
He done him dirty, but at the same time, boy, listen, Arteta's ruthless, bro. He's saying, yo, everyone got
to fight for this spot, innit?
Yeah, there's 2 positions in every position that's looking okay, cool. Everybody needs to fight for their position, and obviously Matt Turner went pushing Ramsdale for the.
I'm happy I don't have to pretend Matt Turner was good. You're my guy. He played for Arsenal, but you was meaty. You're not, like you said, he's not pushing Ramsdale at all. You're nowhere near his spot. You can't play out from the back like him. It's a myth.
Yeah. And thing knows, Arteta knows, bro. I'm going into the Champions League. The Europa League, I might can cut you, Matt Turner, I could cut you. But the Champions League, you need a top quality keeper, and he knows.
And now you got a Spanish international.
Exactly, and now he knows you can't have Ramsdale playing every single game of the season. As much as if we never got Raya, you can't have Ramsdale playing Champions League then the league. You can't. You need to
just mad complacent, man. Not that I think Ramsdale is complacent, because he doesn't strike me as someone that rests on his laurels. But naturally, as a human, you will be a bit complacent. Now, if you look over your shoulder and you're making one save in training, Raya's popping a Saka shot over the bar, you're gonna fix up. My only issue would be how long can that persist though? Because on one hand, I hear what Arteta is saying, competition and there's games to play. But Raya has to have, if Raya was told, you know what, if you win the spot, it's yours. If you want to be number 2, it's yours. But Raya must have been told, yo, you're going to get the spot. Remember, I tried to buy you before Ramsdale. Yeah. Typically, as you know, you can't really hold on to 2 keepers like that. We were here with Leno and Czech. We was here with Ramsdale and Leno. How long can it persist, really, before someone says, Gaffer, I need to go,
It's true. It's true. Because obviously, theoretically, they're both number 1 keepers. And it's
exactly,
not really
and they're both in the international scene. There's a Euros. I don't know. Raya played every game for Brentford last year as well.
Yeah,
so
of course. You don't really have 2 number 1 keepers at the same team at the same time. It's a rare thing to happen. But at the same time, like you said, it will push both of them. And the beauty of it is, okay, cool. We would really see who's really up to the task. Arteta's saying if it takes that, I need to find out who's the real deal and who's the keeper I really need. And you 2 need to fight out just to show me who I need to pick, then so be it. Then I'll get my number 1. The best man win, and I'll sell the one who doesn't want to stay, who doesn't want to be part of the project, and I get somebody else. But at least I know now who is the number 1 keeper to take me forward for the rest of the season or for the rest of my career at Arsenal or however many years there are.
When do you think he gets his chance though, Raya?
I think he'll get his chance at Champions League.
That's the thing though, like
I think he starts Champions League game.
I'm happy with Raya, but like, if I'm Ramsdale and I'm your number 1, you got your first game back in the Champions League under the carpet, a competition which probably we're not going to win, but we'd like to go far. Surely that's gutting to take, man.
Yeah, was it?
And even is it feasible to have a cup keeper and a Prem keeper?
Not really, because most teams that did win the Champions League.
It's a number 1, isn't it? Undoubtedly.
Number 1. Yeah. They stuck with their number 1. Keep their back. Now you don't mess with the back line, innit? Me personally,
this is it. Yeah,
it's the old school saying, innit? Attack wins games, defense wins you titles, innit? And
you have it.
And the keepers is part of that defense because they're used to the keepers communicate with them, and the defenders know when our keepers he's going to come and catch the ball, etc., etc. It's all a communication between the keepers. So
you have it.
2 different personalities with 2 different types of competitions. It could be a bit confusing, but at the same time, I think Raya might be our cup competition keeper. I think so. And like you said, Ramsdale, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Ramsdale helped. He took us out the mud and got us to the Champions League, and just drops in lastminute.com.
See, this is the thing with Ramsdale. He's an enigma because I know he's got clangers, but I like his personality. He faces up to the music. I like Ramsdale a lot. I just feel he's a lot better when he's under pressure. And maybe, like kind of what you're saying about Raya, maybe that transpires off the field. I think when Ramsdale is consistently busy, you know, you look at Liverpool away last season or Leeds where we got 3 points, he's at his best. I think the games where, like the Emirates, where we're on the front foot, the keeper ain't got much, I think that's where Ramsdale, he needs to do a bit better. And maybe he's like that in training, for argument's sake. And the Raya coming in, you look left, you look right, you see what Raya's doing. You know, he fits like a glove what Arteta wants in terms of the modern keeper. You might fix up, man. What do you make of Trossard not really getting game time? Because I can't lie, Arsenal fans, don't shoot me. I think he's a bit overrated. And what I mean by that is I think Trossard's a very good footballer, but I think he flatters to deceive across a whole 90 minutes, just like against Fulham. I do like him. I do think you need a run, but I can understand why Martinelli plays, really. Defensive actions as well. I don't think Trossard's too fancy on that. And again, that don't mean I think he's a bad player. I just think within the fan base, we're overrating Trossard, not to take anything away from the individual.
Yeah, I could see what you mean by there. I could see what you mean by that. Yeah, I rate him though. I think he's
I rate him. Like, don't get twisted. I rate Trossard. I'm happy that we got him. Definitely when you see the youth that we were trying to buy in January, what's going on with him at Chelsea. So we got Trossard, isn't it? Like, he's moving mad.
I think he's cold. He's a good player. He's a great option to come off the bench, and even a great option to start. Exactly. At the end of the day, he's quality. He's prem proven. He's been here for how many years now, and he's international for Belgium. He scored the other day for Belgium.
Scored a worldie the other day. Yeah, Eden Hazard-esque, really.
Yeah, so he's a quality player. Like you said, obviously right now Martinelli is in favour, and one of the main key things that's helping Martinelli stay in favour is his defensive attributes towards the club. I mean, towards the club and for the team, he does track back, and he loves to get involved in a tackle. So Trossard right now, I think he's just gonna have to try fight and just try get back into the team. I don't think he thought he would have stayed out this long. I think he probably would have when he signed. I don't think
he thought there was probably a bit more starts and minutes and things like that. Probably,
like we're in 4 competitions this season, and there's only been 4 games. And Arteta said there's a lot of games this season,
and they're coming now. We've got a game almost every 3 days now. Now it's your time. If you want to, if you're not starting, come and grab a shirt now. Simple as that.
Yeah, and there's going to be times where the rotation, Martinelli's going to need a rest because we might have that big Champions League game, but we've got a game where, I don't know, it might be Sheffield United away, where Trossard is more than good enough to play against Sheffield. You know what I'm saying? So you might have the options. Okay, you know what, Martinelli, you chill for a second. Trossard, you get some games. So rightfully so, he's a professional footballer, and every footballer wants to play, bro. We played ball. Nobody wants to sit on the bench. It's just one of those things. But at the same time, you got to think about it. If you're part of this club, part of this team, when you come on, you just got to show out, bro. And I think he will do that. And I hope he does do that to push Martinelli as well as himself, just to show Martinelli, yo, bro, I'm sick too. I'm international too. Like, I will take your place. I'm saying so.
Facts.
At the current moment of time, I'm not really looking too much into it. I know that he said he had a talk with the gaffer. I saw something about he had a talk with Arteta.
Yeah, Trossard. Yeah, to be fair, Trossard in the interview he gave on goal.com is very mature, and I think that shows. I think that's an age thing, you know, in that he believed, like you said, no player wants to sit on the bench. You're vexed, but you need to be mature enough to know the collective comes before my own. Arteta might prefer Martinelli for other things that I'm not doing. I just got to stay working, and I will get my opportunity. That's why I'm kind of happy with Trossard, and he's another player that's quote unquote Premier League proven. It's actually another player that, you know, we've taken off the market because he always used to have a great game against us, Lord knows. So I'm happy. What do you make of Nelson and Smith Rowe? Because they're on the peripheral things at the moment, more so Smith Rowe.
Smith Rowe, well, boy.
I feel like crying, man. I don't want it to end like this for Smith Rowe. Still, I hope you spoke on competition. I hope he gets his chance, man.
Bro, I hope so, bro. Bro, on my show, Filthy, I was riding out for Smith Rowe the most, bro. I was saying, like, even so much so, even he saw the social media clips, because I know someone that's like part of his team was like, yo, who's this guy that keeps mentioning my name? This is before he was even getting games. I'm saying, bro, like, I can see this guy can play. He can ball. He can move the ball about. He's sharp.
You got a number 10 for a reason, man.
Yeah, he's a quick thinker. He's a good player. And obviously the injury, when he got the injury, he came out the squad. And the time he came back into the squad, I think Arteta's developed a new system.
The landscape's changed, yeah.
Yeah, it's just changed, which kept him out the squad. I still think he's good enough to play for the team. I don't know quite yet if he's good enough to actually start week in, week out. But in the games he does get and the competitions he's going to play in, it might be Carling Cup, FA Cup. He might even get a Champions League feature. Who knows? But he needs to show why I play for Arsenal Football Club and why you guys gave me the number 10. I think he's a good player. I think he's got all the attributes, because clearly when he plays for the 21s, he's like a big man compared to everyone over there.
Yeah,
So he's
yeah,
not.
and
He's
that's where I
not.
thought he was going to get his chance, man. Because the under
Yeah,
21s Euros, he used that as a bit of preseason.
yeah.
He looked good in preseason for us. He's just got to be patient, I guess.
He's got to be patient because, like I said, 21s when he's there, he's like leaps and bounds. You can see he's better than everybody else. Not everybody,
Yeah,
but he's better
it's
than
almost
this
a waste
level.
of time being there for him.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
you're
He's
not out
better
your
than
comfort zone.
Yeah, facts. So I'm glad we didn't sell him because he's a Highlander, and at the end of the day, I would love to see him get like a full running of games or get like some more games under his belt, a bit more consistency. So Smith Rowe, I think he's a baller. I think he's got time. I think he's got a little bit more credit in the bank. He needs to take his chance though. Going to Reece Nelson, I honestly thought he was going to leave this season, personally, because the way Arteta was using him last season as a cameo role, which was good, and every time he came on, he was impactful. But at the same time, he's over there against one of the best wingers. I think top 3 wingers in the world, isn't it? And you're not going to take Saka space. He knows that himself. But when he does come on, he gives it his all because he knows what it means to play for Arsenal because he's an Arsenal.
And you don't know if you're going to play again in a sense, really. So it's like I have to give it my all, really.
But I like him on the left-hand side, though. I was
just about to say that to you. I think if you ask Reece Nelson where he likes to play, I think he'll give you the diplomatic answer of say anywhere the gaffer needs me. But if you could talk to him on a private thing, I think he prefers to play on the left. I actually think he prefers to play in the 10. And I want someone to cut. That's why I was saying I want a right wing, and I think everyone else would agree in that. We seem a bit lopsided on the left-hand side. We don't really have that many options. If we did bring in an Osman, then obviously that might open up Jesus playing out wide. But it's just down for Nelson. And it's a bit like Smith Rowe. Like his best football for Arsenal probably came in the 10/left wing. I don't know if Arteta sees him in that kind of Havertz role with Fabio Vieira. I don't know, man. But at the same time, in today's day and age, you've got to be able to play all of these roles. And, Arteta's made a case of bringing in these guys, Benjamin White, Timber, and all the other players we discussed can all play and play well in a role, really. So it's a techie one, man.
Let me mirroring what I said about Smith Rowe, basically with Reece Nelson, he just needs to take his chance and just, there's going to be games. These boys are going to get chances, bro.
This is it.
But let me ask you a question. What do you think about the whole Pepe situation? Us terminating his contract. Do you think he should have stayed? Do you think we should have tried to get more money for him? Do you think it's his time? Do you think we should have sold him? We should have terminated his contract.
I think that was just last chance saloon, man. I think we were holding out for a transfer fee. I don't know why. 1 minute it's Besiktas, 1 minute it's Saudi Arabia. Clearly, nobody's that convinced. I would have loved the transfer fee. I think all options had to be on the table. I think if we didn't rip up his contract, he probably would have went out on loan and played for a year or so with a loan fee. It's clearly like obviously in terms of natural ability, there's not many people in that Arsenal squad that are better than him. But in terms of your consistency, your application, your defensive actions, how good you are at your worst. You're not talking to Saka, and you can't do what Arteta wants. Would have loved him to, like you said, with Reece Nelson and Smith Rowe, to somewhat be a wild card in that. Clearly, Arteta plans everything down to a T. But in a game, if it's not like that, maybe you could be a little wild card. Some games you might cost us. Some games you might dance past bare players. I would have liked him to stay, but yeah, man, it was a writing on the wall, man. It's not fair to Arteta. It's not fair to the fans and the players, and it's not fair to Pepe. Like, go somewhere with a smile on your face. I don't think Pepe was flooded with offers. He didn't exactly set the world alight in France last year. On ability, I would be open to having him in the squad, but I think it is what it is. Of course, I'm disappointed to see a man's contract ripped up at 28, where we signed you for 72 million. You don't want to see us make a habit of those things. But last year, Edu said we'd do it again and again. So I think everybody could see this was the reality Pepe was going to head into. The deal was going to get ripped up. He was going to goal in it. So, yeah, man, I would have been open to keeping him. But because you could argue, to answer your question, you could argue Pepe is closer to taking Saka's spot than Nelson would be.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, man, really.
Pepe is a prime example of hard work sometimes pays off more than talent because he has all the talent.
He has all the ability, bro.
He has all the ability. And we're not there in training. He could be training his arse off and Arteta would be like, yo, I don't fancy him. But at the same time, maybe he wasn't giving his best account, putting his best foot forward in training, or maybe he wasn't up for doing the defensive attributes and coming back and listening to Arteta's system and saying, okay, maybe he doesn't take instructions well. That's
I
another
don't
thing.
think he
Like,
trusts him. Don't you remember Leicester?
yeah,
Was it Leicester or Villa away? One of them games last season, the season before, better yet, where he came on and it was I think it was like 2-1 or 1-0. It was Techie. Villa were kind of onto us, and he just giving the ball away. You could see
yeah.
Arteta visibly vexed at him. So I think it's the trust element, really. I don't think ultimately Arteta trusts him now. I think he did once upon a time when he kind of had to, but as you said earlier, the system's left certain man really.
Yeah, and I just don't think Arsenal. I honestly don't think Arteta really fancied him, to be honest.
And it's not his signing, bro. It's
yeah,
not his
yeah,
signing.
yeah. It's not his kind of player. I just honestly thought, you know what? Let me just try shift him and try to get him out of there, because there was no reason whatsoever why Pepe shouldn't have been in this team other than talent. If we're basing it on talent,
Facts.
because he should be in the squad if it's based on talent.
He's got that. I can't lie. He's an experienced player. He's able to dance past players. He can make things happen. The only time I felt Pepe's really been a bit unlucky is when Arteta brought in Willian, and Willian was stinking up the place and he was getting a start. That's when I was like, cool, Gaffer, Pepe thing now, man. But other than that, man, I think it was happening, innit? I would have loved the world where, you know, they made peace. Pepe's playing. We've got him and Saka right wing. We might be looking at it differently, but I don't think anyone could be shocked. Like, you could see that this was the natural progression. And I kind of think everything I would say in Pepe's defense kind of goes out the window when you went on loan last year. You're like, all the journalists and things you read out of France were quite critical. And Arteta was quite critical. Like, I'm pretty sure you watch Arteta and listen to his conferences. He does the Wenger thing where he says a whole bunch of nothing at times. He was very specific about Pepe's loan. He's like, it weren't designed how I thought it would be. We expect him to be a lot better. It's a myth, really. And he didn't really... What part of pre-season was he part of? Like, the writing was on the wall for me. It was always going to happen, rightly or wrongly, man. If something happens to Saka, God forbid, then you look at it differently. Yeah.
I just think Arteta just wants to just clear out the rest of the team that wasn't his players. Him, Pepe, Kieran Tierney. I think if Granit Xhaka wanted to stay another year, I think he would have kept him there for another year, personally.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have started.
Xhaka forced his hand. Xhaka said, Gaffer, back to Germany. Sorry, my guy. I want to leave in a healthy sort of thing. Cut at the right time, really.
Because I would have liked Granit Xhaka. Not start, maybe not start, but I would have liked him, especially us going into the Champions League, because there's going to be games, you're going to need experience, you're going to need that grit, that fight.
So I like what he does. We miss him right now. I can't cap.
Yeah, I would have liked him to be there for another year. It seemed like Party when he was like, oh, he might get sold. We need them kind of players. That there's just a bit more experience just for this 1 year, just to help these.
That's why I would have held on to Xhaka, Partey, Jorginho, and El Nene. I know El Nene is a marginalized figure, but there's a role here at least for the next 12 months. I think Jorginho, people are really underrating what he could bring game to game, really, especially with Havertz. Really, there might be games where Arteta can't. This system that he's doing right now, he might need to revert back to Rice, Partey, and Odegaard. Because if there's games where we need to work in midfield, take nothing away from Havertz, because statistically he does. I'm not betting on you. I hope the gaffer does, because he's the one that makes the decisions. But gun to my head, must win Champions League game. I'm not necessarily going to start Kai Havertz at this moment in time. I don't know.
But you know what, brother? It's just nice to be talking in this kind of space again, bro. Because there was a time
we've come a long way, man.
Bro,
remember we had Pablo Marie and Holding as people were debating if that's first choice defensive partnership. We've come a long way, bro. Cedric, well, to be fair, big up Cedric. You're still here. Somehow you survived.
Stop, bro. That's another one.
I think that's the Timber thing.
Bro, I was about to say at the same time, it's kind of, bro, because last season, kind of done ourselves over. We sent him out on loan, and we needed a right back.
We zanged ourselves,
Ben White was flagging, bro. You could see physically he was tired. You could see it.
Yeah, the last end of the season, he was done, man. Big up Ben, but he was finished.
Yeah, he was done, and Tomiyasu got injured. So hopefully Cedric, he's there. Like you said, we don't even know how he managed to hang on, but at the same time, Carling Cup, FA Cup, no matter who, depending on who you draw, fling them man there in if you can, just to save the rest of the man's legs.
Facts.
So yeah, I'm not mad at it. The squad's okay right now. It's looking all right. In January, I think we can boost it in January. Probably just like another Jorginho Trossard kind of signing it. Just depending on where we are. Just to tick us over, innit? Just to tick us over, yeah. So, but other than that, I'm happy with us, man. I think we're gonna kick on from now on. I want to see a good performance against Everton. That's our next game. I want to see a convincing performance. I don't want to see this lastminute.com and holding on again. I want to see a professional performance and defensively, really, because they're probably sitting there and want to be fearless against us because of their form. Yeah, of course. And I just want to see us see out a game. It's not going to be easy because Goodison Park for anybody it's not easy. Tricky, techie Sunday afternoon. I will say that techie Sunday afternoon. Yeah. You know, and like you said, I hope Kai Havertz is the one that bags, man. My last question for you: who would you say has the highest ceiling at Arsenal out of all our players? Bakayo, innit?
I think
100%.
Bakayo as well. But there's Mr. Martin Odegaard as well. I can't lie to you.
There's Mr. Saliba.
Yeah.
But
I think
once
Saliba
again,
gets away with murder, though. If I'm honest, I rate him. I think he gets away with murder. I can't lie. I think he gets away with murder. I think when Gabriel makes mistakes, it's like the bad child. When Saliba, it's like when Gordon Ramsay does the kitchen with the children versus the adults. When he's like there with the children and the man he's onto them. I think Saliba gets away with murder. I do think the fact that Gabriel's on the front foot a lot more and Saliba gets to do the graceful thing. But you're right, Saliba, his ceiling's high. He has the potential to one day be one of the best defenders in the world. But I think Odegaard slept on, bro. I think people sleep on what he could be.
Oh yeah, bro. What Odegaard
and Martinelli for that matter as well, really.
But most of our team is ceiling's high, and what's great about that is now
maybe even Timber.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's young as well. And for once, the great thing about this team is I don't want it to happen right now, but Arsenal has resale value. For years, bro, we never had nothing. We probably had one man in the whole team we could sell. Half this team now we could make big bread of.
Oh, especially with what the game is nowadays, man. Like we between Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka, God forbid, and all these guys, bro, they have to go for 100 million minimum, especially if the game keeps going the way it's going.
Rice.
Like, bro, Rice as well. Rice, like there's bare man that are lit now, really. I would even say Eddie and Nketiah and Nelson, because I don't know if you're going to be here for 4 or 5 years. Eddie Nketiah is probably one of our best players at this first 4 games. He's looking like a fairly established Premier League player. If we bring in Osimhen and he says, you know what, Osimhen, Jesus, Gaffer, I want to keep it moving, you should be able to get a decent fee for Eddie Nketiah, especially assuming he gets called up for England again and reinvest that. Nelson, if he can keep doing what he's doing, because I think he's gone from being on the peripheral of things to like a reliable player on the peripheral of things. So you're right on the resale value. We've come along. Like, listen, if we're still in this scenario where 3-4 years we're ripping up contracts, we're doing something wrong. Even Fabio Vieira, slightly, like I don't think he's got potential to be up there with them, man, but I think he's all right. Like, I think Fabio Vieira is actually kind of lit. He just needs to eat some hard food and then we go again.
Yeah, he needs to
really
get some gel off. He needs to do something.
Bro, everything. Like Saka, all you got to do is shout Saka, Partey, and Nketiah. Just go to their mum's house and eat food. That's all Fabio Vieira needs to do for me. And just keep taking your chances. But Fabio is another one where I look at you like Trossard, even though I love Trossard and I want you to start. Are you the man there that you look good in the cameos? When you eventually get that start, and I know it's difficult if you ain't had a run, are you going to flatter to deceive? I don't know. I think you might be, really, because last year you didn't really take your chances. And apart from the Europa League and off the bench, like I'm sure it was against Brentford or someone like that, he set up Martinelli or even Villa, and Martinelli celebrating before he scored. So I don't know, man. But even Fabio,
he's done that twice.
Exactly.
Jesus, but like we've been saying all stream, bro. It's just these guys are gonna get chances. There's 4 competitions, so
just take them.
I just want to see, and I want to see good performances. I want to see good performances from all these players that's not getting in the starting 11 when we're playing Premier League games. I want to see you say, "Yo, I'm accountable. I'm gonna take my chance, and I want to fight for my position." That's all I want to see, because at the same time, when you show that, when you be accountable and you show that input and you show how much I want this, it shows the next man that's playing the next week in a Premier League game, he's coming for me. And you know what I'm saying? It's all good. It's all good, healthy competition. At the same time, we all want the same thing. We all want to win competitions. We all want to be a successful club. So at the same time, my man's coming for a position, but at the same time, he's helping you at the same time because he wants to take your position. So yeah, man, I think we're in good stead. If we don't get any more injuries at this current moment of time, touch wood.
Well, easier said than done. Let's hope, pray, everything.
I think we'll be all right, man. I think we got enough. I think we're strong enough to just to see out games. I think a lot of teams now know that, okay, Arsenal, they're not going to give up. They're not easy to bully. You can't bully them. We've got big defenders. We've got big strikers, quote unquote, Havertz or guys up top. We're going to say we've got big midfielders. So yeah, I think we'll be all right.
A lot more dynamic as well. You're right.
Yeah, a lot more dynamic. We've got different ways of beating teams now. In corners, crosses. We've got bit more target men, like with Havertz. He could be more seen as a target man, as well as just Eddie Nketiah and Jesus, the smaller guys. I'm saying so. There's loads of different options. We've got different ways of beating teams, and I think we'll be all right. We just need to see it through all the way till January and see where we are in the league. If we're still in the top 3 around January, but not too much 4 points of City, whoever may be up the top, if we're like 5 points off them or 4 points, whatever it may be, we've got a good chance of doing something. But at the same time, just want to see us kick on and just challenge for the league, try bag a trophy, i.e. the FA Cup, and then just have a very good run in the Champions League. And I'll be happy with that because this team's still young. And I'm not going to put that much pressure on them because what they did last season, because last season was an anomaly. No one expected that. You know what I'm saying? They had no God-given right to even do that. They wasn't even there. It should have been Liverpool going off at the back of their season, what they done, and City again. And Arsenal trying to fight back into Champions League. But we've just skipped it. We just skipped a year or two. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we should just kick on. Don't feel sorry for ourselves and just kick on. And I think this team, these boys won it, man. They're young, they won it, and I think we got a good chance of winning it, man. But we got to don't feel sorry for ourselves and don't feel sorry for ourselves and don't feel sorry for anybody else. Got to be ruthless in front of goal, bro. Got to kill teams off. That's Fulham got into the game because of that, because we didn't kill teams off. Felt sorry for ourselves. Nottingham Forest felt sorry. We got to kill teams off, bro. We're Arsenal Football Club. We're a big club, and we started to act like it. And now we just got to keep it consistent, man. That's it. That's all I got to say, bro.
You're right, still. And the thing is, with the killing people, I think it comes down to we've got to be ruthless. We have to not lacking. We have to get rid of this complacency and think the game's won. Like if it's a boxing match, keep hitting your opponent until the ref pulls you off him. Don't think, he's holding his face or whatever. Keep going for it. And I think that naturally will come. I do think Arteta tells them this, but I think them kind of things is what the players have to like manage themselves, sort of things. If you're not going to kill games, manage the game in certain sort of ways. And I still think we're kind of in that stick or twist mode, really and truly. And you're right, man. And that's go back to your point about when we finished second. That's why I don't want complacency, because we finished second in the Premier League last year, and the table doesn't lie, it doesn't necessarily mean we're the second best team in the Prem. We start again. We've got to earn all of these things again. It doesn't matter who did what last year. We go again. And these are things I think Arteta is putting into the boys, but these are the things now where the players have got to manage. As they say, the best footballers are the best thinkers and the ones that manage situations themselves. That's what we've got to learn to do. And I think there are elements, we've shown that we never say never. We react a lot more. One thing I have liked over the last 2-3 seasons is in previous years, a man might make a mistake and you can see players know that, all right, cool, he's going to be the one that they're spoken of. Now we G up our teammates and we just get the result, or we at least try and we don't look for excuses. So like you said, we're in good stead, but we're just going to have to keep going, man. It's easier said than done, but it's going to be a long, long race, man. 34 more games, man. But it is where it is. I've appreciate. Go on. Last thing before I go. Let me get your top 5. Let me get your top 4 in order. Let me get your. How you think it's going to end? In order. Obviously, we've seen 4 games. Obviously, there's going to be a long way to go. But seeing like the first 4 games you've seen of the teams now, how do you think it's going to pan up? City. I have to say Arsenal. City, Arsenal. I think Liverpool will be there. 4th, I'm not sure though, because I do see a little Brighton or someone respectfully doing something. I still think United have this element of just putting results together at the right time. I do want to write off Chelsea because I feel they need to go back to the drawing board. But you just never know. That could be a benefit having no football. I'd say 4th is up for debate, man. But I do expect to see Arsenal, Liverpool, and obviously City there. If I had to bet, I'd throw United in there, but again, they look like they will be their own worst enemies as well, really. I can't get 4th, I don't know. Even Newcastle might be there as well. I think it's up for debate, man. Truthfully, I think City's the only team I could bet on, and then it's all like a Royal Rumble sort of thing. If I'm honest with you, I'm saying with you. I think City. Obviously, I'd love it to say us, but going off what history tells us the last couple of years, City. I think Arsenal, Liverpool. Even then again, that could switch. So that's the thing. Like City, Liverpool, if they are not asked too much questions on their depth, then I think they're good. I don't think we drop out bare minimum. I don't think we drop out top 3. Like we're top 3. We're in top 3. We need to get Champions League as a minimum once again, if I'm honest. So I do think we'll be in the Champions League in some capacity, but truthfully, I think it's up for debate. Other than City, City's the only team. If I had to bet my life, are going to be in the top 4, 100%. Yeah, I think it's probable Arsenal will be there, but 100% City. Then it's all up for debate, man. Yeah, so I say City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and like you said, top 4. Like that is a Royal Rumble. But I would edge it to Manchester United just for the pure fact that, like you said, they'll be a detriment to their own selves. But I think they've got enough quality to get them out of games, get them out of situations. Games. Rashford will find goals. Bruno will get goals. Obviously, goals win games. So I think they'll be all right. Yeah, you just never know. You never know. But because Nana will save them some points as well, in my opinion, for all his faults. Yeah, because you got teams like Brighton and Villa and that, which is good. But
they're in European football, and we don't know.
Also, you're right. You're right. Completely forgot that.
Yeah, the squad depth might. Thursday, Sunday, ball, as we know, we've been in it for the past 6 years, way too long. It's not easy.
It's not easy, especially when you're not got blessed with the depth of City. You're asking a lot on the players. I know the players want to play, but it takes a lot out of you, really. Even games like Fulham and Man United, them games which are very dramatic, it takes a lot out of you physically and dramatically. Yeah, and obviously, as you know, it takes 48 hours to recover. It's difficult.
Yes, yeah, it's difficult. So I think, but Man United's got the squad depth and they've got the experience within players. So I think they'll nick it, Man United. And I think
Amrabat's a good signing for them, really, and truly save Casemiro's legs a tiny bit, because I think their midfield at times is a bit unbalanced, as shown against us, really. I think in the last couple of games against United, I ain't complaining, but their midfield is like Arteta. I don't think for all of the skills that Arteta has, I don't think he's had to think much about schooling that midfield positively for us. And that might harm them, really. Yeah.
Amrabat is a good. They needed to get those legs in because they can't rely on Casemiro for the rest of the season.
They're gonna kill him. They're gonna drive him into an early retirement if they never got that. Like he's a great footballer, but he's not Superman. Really.
Yeah, the brain's there, but the legs are just not there anymore. But yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, and United. So yeah, and Chelsea. I don't care about them, bro.
Trust me. Like, just write them off, man. I hope Pochettino struggles. I hope Mudryk continues to struggle. Sterling, you're my guy. I hope you struggle. I hope anything connected to the club struggles. If I'm completely honest with you, it's nothing personal. It's just business. Do you know what? Even to be fair with you, I can't write off Spurs. If I'm completely honest, I think they'll come fifth.
I think they'll do fifth.
Yeah, they probably will. Obviously, Kane, you've lost 30 league goals, and I don't know how many goals correlate to winning games, or match-winning goals and that. But so far,
5th this year gets you Champions League, right? 5th this year gets you Champions League, isn't it?
Does it?
Yeah, 5th. They're saying, I swear, yeah.
Surely there's got to be some speculation or stipulation. Something has to be won.
Yeah. We might
be some coefficients. That's the Bandulu entry, man.
Yeah, it's
that's
the Bandulu entry.
That's that 3 before 7:30 rave entry requirement, man. I don't know about that.
Yeah, you're helping the DJ set up and that. But
yeah, man, that was crazy.
But I'm here though.
But then again, no Europe could help them, honestly.
Yeah. No, exactly. No Europe might help them. So. Who knows? But then again, they still might fight Man United for 4th spot. But I'll say Man United then Spurs. I think, like I said, Champions League, Newcastle, they got a good 11, but the squad depth might hinder them.
You can't be running the Dan Burn left back thing in the champs. Respectfully to him, it's not going to bang. Like I think Eddie Howe's going to have to learn that. Couple man that have helped doing what you're doing now, where Newcastle can go with their resources. Everyone can't go on the journey, man. You know, Dan Burn, I'm sure he's a great lad. He actually used to have a couple of good games for Brighton against us, but he can't help them. But it'll be interesting to see, man. It'll be interesting. We're just going to have to see, man. Let people know where they can find you. I can't imagine they don't know, but yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Milage UK. You can find me on all social medias there. Twitch, Filthy Fellas with there. And then, that's all my social medias, man. Milage UK. And that's it, man. I'm here. I'm outside, man. I'm just trying to stay a bit more active. Obviously, I'll come on your channel throughout the rest of the season. So, yeah, we got in the first one. So yeah, man, I'm a fan of your content, bro. Like big man.
Appreciate that.
And just to let people know, I reached out to Deluded. I even said to him, "Yo, let me get you." I lied. Well, I'm not even gonna lie.
He did.
I reached out to you, bro. I shouted you, said, "Bro, let me come on your show." Man.
He's a real one still.
Yeah, I respect what you're doing, man. I listen to your shows, bro. I'm here just like, even you on my PC and I'm watching my screen. Obviously, I've messaged 1 or 2 times. Said my little.
Yeah, man. Like you're on my Twitch thing from time to time as well. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man. I'm here, so respect what you're doing, man. Keep going, man. Keep striving. Keep going. Your thing's growing. I could see. So, yeah, man. I'm here, Milage UK. Best looking guy on YouTube.
Debatable still. There's a babyface killer here still. Maybe you can do the Arsenal thing. I'm like City still. I don't know. But on a serious note, people, all this info will be in the description of the YouTube vid by the time you're listening to this. So, make sure you're hitting up the various socials, the Twitters, the Twitches, support them and them. And for now, people, one love to you lot listening in advance. One love to M for being part of it. People, DG, we're out, man. Love.
Right, take it easy.
There's always that active red light defending. I think it's like